Brand new character. We're gonna be talking about a new series that's new to me, and I didn't know. I'll just say this now, just for starters. I had no idea that none of these characters were really capable of what they're capable of now with their powers, and I grew up just watching all these different cartoons that you see in the game for Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, goes on, and just older shows like Kablam that could also be in the game, and just different other series and different shows that I grew up watching. And when you watch these shows, when you watch these cartoons, whether it's on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, you see these commercials. And I seen the My Little Pony toy commercials. I remember the commercials that used to come on, and even on Cartoon Network, just watch your favorite show from and Eddie and many other shows like Courage the Cowardly Dog, Johnny Bravo, and more. It goes on and on. Scooby Doo. I've seen some of these commercials for My Little Pony toys advertised, and I had no idea that these guys had special powers. And from the series, kind of find out, somebody came over to the channel and said that, and even from you guys are talking about it in the screenshot, My Little Pony has actually aired on Nickelodeon when I didn't even know it was a Nickelodeon show in the first place. I thought it was just something. I thought My Little Pony only existed for a little bit just as toys for kids. And you go to the store and get some of your action figures, things like that, Hot Wheels, etc., etc. And I just didn't know it was a show. So this is something I'm going to be talking about tonight. And I wanted to bring out one more final character before the year 2022 closes out and comes to an end. And I thought this would be an iconic character that some of you guys might end up wanting to see. Some other people have talked about other My Little Pony characters possibly being in a Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and as individual protagonists and more. But this is all about Discord, and I'm gonna try to say this. I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce it right, but I'm just gonna say Discord just as a main antagonist for this game. He's a male in the show My Little Pony Friendship, and we're gonna be talking about him as a DLC fighter. So just for his backstory, just I like to start with, I did some research as much as I could, trying to get to know this character. I found out a little bit more about him, what he's capable of, and more, and kind of find out he is a former villain now. But this game definitely needs more villains for sure. So I definitely think he can come in as a villain to join the likes of Shredder and many others that could probably get into the game. But I'm going to try to pronounce this. Dracon Aquis. He's a Dracon Aquis from My Little Pony, and a former antagonist, and from the show, and some other things I ended up finding out. When you look at Discord, and even from these pictures, he's a combination of many different things, of many body parts from different creatures, which is really crazy. And this is definitely one of the most different characters I have ever seen for a cartoon character, at least, that could be into a game, and a Nickelodeon character for sure, I have to say. And in regards to just his style, his body is just from all these different parts from different creatures, and it also makes, from what I found out, he's a chimera. And just more about him that I wanted to share with you guys. He's the spirit of chaos and disharmony who once ruled over Equestria, which is the main setting for the show in this magical land. And he caused so much problems and, what they say, unrest and unhappiness for this particular show in general. And the one thing that I ended up finding out, he ended up getting imprisoned in stone from the elements of harmony. That this wasn't just a one-time thing. He basically got imprisoned a few times and turned to stone to be able to be defeated. That was the way that they stopped him from causing so much havoc and causing so much ruckus and chaos, are really trying to take over. These elements of harmony is one that almost makes you think of like the Chaos Emeralds from Sonic, or the Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball Z, in a way that gives you this ultimate power, or basically the Chaos Emeralds, I would say, this superpower where you can be able to, stop just everything, and you can basically conquer and just be so unstoppable to really be able to get everything out of your way and just be able to stop whatever force is really just causing a ruckus in the land, or just even in some of these games that they have where they have these superpowers. But the elements of harmony is basically what caused him to turn into stone, and how the sisters really had to put him away. And what I found out, what Princess Luna used the elements of harmony to imprison him into stone. And then some of you guys even told me, even what I also ended up finding out tonight, is that this elements of harmony, of course he was probably turned into stone, but eventually they ended up turning him into a good guy. He ended up becoming a protagonist because the characters changed him. And for what I found out, just what I have listed here in my little notes, just with a little bit of backstory, one of the characters, Princess Celestia, decided that Discord should be reformed to so his magic can be used for good. And I remember some of you guys were telling me about that in the chat. So now since he's been reformed, he's a whole different new character. He's brand new, or what they say, this person, they'll say he's turned a new leaf, or whoever it is. So he's no longer a bad guy anymore. He's not much of an antagonist of what he used to be. He's so different now. So he's now a reformed character. He's a good guy, and he's with them and on their side. So I'll just say this now. I don't know the whole story. I haven't seen too many episodes, but I did some digging, watching some clips, and playing some different looking more into his character and finding out more about Discord and what he's capable of, and just where he came from, and what was his goals, and really trying to really take over and conquer this magical land of Equestria. So that's just his whole backstory. So I don't know what you guys can consider him now. Would you say he's a villain now, or maybe he's now what they say, anti-hero, or maybe he is now considered a protagonist? But I definitely think that he can be a really good character in this game, and that's what I'm going to share my little ideas now that we talked a little bit about his backstory, and just the stages and some of the places I named. This main magical land of Equestria is the main setting of this show, My Little Pony Friendship, from Nickelodeon. And this is the main magical land, or the main setting. But some other stages, just to go in a little bit more detail, Ponyville was the small town that was the real setting for this particular show and its main characters. And some of the characters I just basically talked about, Princess Celestia and all the others, Twilight and many others that I end up seeing, but I didn't really find out too much about them because we were talking about Discord for this one. But Ponyville, if they were to just for the stages, they can add that in to be bundled with his paid DLC. And then I also slipped in Canterlot, which I ended up finding out is the actual capital of Equestria and home to the royal palace of Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, and supposedly Twilight as well. So I thought that could be something that they can add. So when they come out with, if they were to come out with some My Little Pony DLC for Friendship, that's a little nice surprise. Ponyville can come out as a potential stage, and maybe Canterlot could be like the capital that they can put into it, and maybe they can come out with both of them. Maybe some of these characters that y'all see on this game, every character has at least one stage that's associated with them, just like SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy, Rocco and Jenny with Tremerton Joyride, and then Hugh Neutron's his Duck and Pie World came out as an individual stage. Maybe Discord could come out with more than just one stage to be associated with him as potential additional for the be packed in one bundle for paid DLC. But those are all the stages that I end up going through and end up selecting from my list of ideas for how, just for this character, just to get started. So we talked about our backstory, his backstory, and now are a little bit of the stages of where he comes from, and just a little bit of the stages that can fit him for the show to pay tribute to it. Now it's time for the alternate costumes, and just like I always usually showcase, every character in this only has one costume, but I don't always want to just stick to one costume. These characters can have more than one costume. they definitely need to come out with more alts, and that can be like a potential separate update. They don't all have to come out at once. They can just be out in a little bit of, just a little by little, similar to how they came out with a little bit of newer alternate taunts like Danny Phantoms, which I really like. They can come out with different additional alternate costumes with these characters to be associated with them. They look really good. Like his is one of the best in the game anyway. At least one of my personal favorites, Jenny and more, that can be able to get into the game. But for starters, I selected Stone Discord, and the reason why I selected this, I didn't really find any other potential costumes that he could wear and different looks. I thought this would be a pretty some kind of unique idea, because Discord has been turned to stone quite a few times, or at least more than once at that, per se. He's been turned to stone a few times, and why not have him get that particular stone, that stone look, or him being petrified from the elements of harmony as an alternate costume. And what I was thinking about as I was looking at different, just seeing the way he was turned into stone, just to looking at his color, it made me think of Leonardo and Michelangelo. So see how the color is for the Eastman skins? And I'll be honest, I didn't even know these were the Eastman skins. I just thought they looked a little bit scary just looking at them. You got Eastman, Leonardo, and Michelangelo. And I ended up finding this out because in Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3, we got Eastman Raphael, who is part of the Turbo Pack DLC in that game. So see how the color is for Michelangelo and Leonardo? They can probably end up having that same sort of shade of white, or that sort of color design for Discord, for Stone Discord to be playable. So it could be like this kind of color that could pay tribute to the show of when he was turned to stone a few times. And I think it'll be a nice, quick, and easy alternate costume that can get into the game and be implemented when he comes out, if he were to get into this game as a new playable character for the devs. See how some of these characters got quick alts, like Lincoln Loud just got a beanie, Lucy Loud just got some shades that look cool, but it'll look awesome just as good as this with Leonardo and Michelangelo's with Stone Discord as a potential idea. And then doing some digging, speaking of glasses, see how they got the shades for Lucy Lau? They could throw on the 3D glasses for Discord. Because when he was chilling, eating some popcorn and Princess Twilight Sparkle in that episode, Princess Twilight Sparkle Part 2, he was rocking some 3D glasses while eating some popcorn. So I thought maybe, there's no other characters in this game that has a set of 3D glasses. Discord can be rocking some 3D glasses, looking cool in this game, and I think they'll look really good. Just something, it sounds a little bit basic, but just something almost similar to what they did for this game for Lucy Loud and just some of these other characters that just have hats. So they can do something with his 3D glasses, but they don't have to settle for that. They can just come out with the Stone Discord, and then just like always, usually if I can't really find anything, I'm going with color variations that I came up with, where you can be able to change the color of the character. And I just always reference Reptar, and then some of the other who else changes colors? See, like this one for example, I'll go with Shredder this time around. But with color variations, he's already colorful, because when you look at Discord, he already has those different body parts, and different body parts of all these different creatures that are completely different colors. So I came up with color variations for him, for in his case as well. But now, just to mix into it and add on to it, the player can be able to customize the options with the horse that he has, the horse head, the dragon tail, the lion paw, his wings, the eagle claw, and more on his body. So you could be able to customize and change the colors. See how Shredder changes? Look, this is his classic look, but he turns red. His torso is red, and then his cape is a little bit darker. And it seems like his skin, it'll light up a little bit more. It seems like it's a little bit darker. But see how the different changes like that? They can do something like that with Discord, with his wings being able to be changed, his eye color, and then the parts on his body with all those different creatures can be a different color along with his wings. So I selected that as a little bit of iconic, different way of customizing and be able to change the way you want him to look and be able to select between different colors. And if not, just like they did with Shredder, he can just have a different color with a whole nother set of colored wings, and his eye colors change, things like that. See, they can and just, it makes me think of just like Evil Danny Phantom. They can make his eyes red, things like that, but almost similar to how they did with Zim. See his eyes change. They can do something like that. It can go hand in hand with Reptar, with his colors of his body, seeing able to see his eyes with Zim, and then just the outfit of Shredder and his cape can also be associated with variations of colors they can do with Discord. But now, those are just some alternate costumes. You got the animations and taunts coming up. Just doing some research, I heard that this is one of his most famous quotes. So I didn't know what he said, because just like I said, I never even watched the show before. So this is all brand new to me. So some of you guys can be able to clarify some of the famous quotes that he says, and maybe some of the voice lines he could say in this game. And one of his iconic quotes, or at least one of his most famous quotes, is "Make sense? Oh, what fun is there in making sense?" So that's one, I guess that's his most iconic quote. So I'm not sure if some of you guys would agree. Maybe some of you can elaborate in the comments and what else he could possibly say and do for animations and taunts. And there's just some other quotes that I put down and found out about. It says, "Who cares? I could do whatever I want, whenever I want. I'm Discord, the master of chaos." And then just some other ones with his evil laughter can be included. "I am very real, and you have all been brought here as part of my plan to rid Equestria of Twilight Sparkle and her friends, once and for all." And he does that little evil laugh. But that sounds like something that he could say in the arcade. But I think that could be something that can be added into like his voice lines. And then just going back to where he was rocking the 3D glasses, "I'm gonna need more popcorn." It could be funny lines like that could be added into the game for the arcade, because all these characters say different voice lines, but you have to play it so many times to get them to say it. It's just so many voice lines that they can add to pay tribute to the show. And then here's another one. "Oh, I'm not playing fair? Perhaps we haven't met. I'm Discord, spirit of chaos and disharmony." You know, things like that. So, spirit of chaos and disharmony? Hello? Things like that. It can just be, it's just silly quotes like that can really be fitting for his arcade that can pop up. Of course, he's not going to be saying on that in during the matches, but just some kind of quick little potential taunt or winner animation. I ended up finding out and just doing some digging when during Princess Celestia's arrival. It could be something cool during the episode Keep Calm and Flutter On, when he was a good guy and renewed and reformed. When Princess Celestia arrived, he ended up taking a bow with pleasure. So that could be something that he could do when he wins in the winning circle. Because I don't think there's any sort of character that does something like taking a bow, like thank you, something like that. He can do that same sort of animation that he does towards Princess Celestia in the show as something that he can do in the winning animation for the winner's circle. And then he can say some of those different quotes, things like that. But that's all I could really come up with. I wasn't too sure what else he could possibly do for taunts and his animations and things like that. I found as much as I could as far as some quotes that also matches the show. I wanted to make it relative, and all these different characters say all types of different things. And sometimes even when you play as that certain character and you get first place and you win in a 2v2 or a 3v1, for example, they're not going to always be that character to say something. It's always going to probably be someone else that's going to end up saying something that was in that party or in that particular team that would take the place of the character that you played. So it's a little bit different for this game. But my favorite part was creating a moveset for Discord, and I had so much fun. I just always enjoy making up these different ideas, but all the moves that I basically put together pay tribute to what he's capable of in the show, and just more. So I didn't want to just make a random moveset. I wanted to really find out about what he's capable of for his powers, his abilities, and more to make him shine. And for starters, the Plunder Seeds is one of them. So I put this move first. So Discord can plant these magical seeds. Finding out about these Plunder Seeds, I wanted to find out exactly what these things could be able to do. And I think this is exactly one of the moves. This could be one of his good iconic moves to pay tribute to the show, where he can plant these Plunder Seeds and be utilized on the battlefield as a little bit of something to watch out for. So you're not just watching out for Discord and keeping an eye out on him on the field. You want to make sure you don't run into these things. The Plunder Seeds that he's going to be able to plant, and they're going to be able to sprout and grow into these vines that will be able to attack the enemy. And just something that I found out, Discord used these Plunder Seeds for some very devious things and some sneaky stuff that he did in the show. He can plant up to 3 seeds at a time for this particular move. So that way it's fair, and he's not just spamming all these seeds and projectiles all over the place and planting having a map filled with all these Plunder Seeds. They'll be very overpowered. So I thought it'll fit that sort of balance where he only can plant 3 seeds at a time, and then that way it'll be like a little bit of a cooldown period where he can't keep on planting the Plunder Seeds and then just be vines everywhere. It'll be able to get everybody on the map. These things are going to be really dangerous, and these Plunder Seeds are the vines that sprawled out on the out of the ever-free forest. And then finding out it was all these same seeds were also used to invade Ponyville, ever-free forest that I just mentioned, and they were also used to, he also used these Plunder Seeds to attempt to steal the Tree of Harmony's magic and capture the princesses. So that was from the Princess Twilight Sparkle episode, I think in part 1, apparently, from what I found out, where he tried to actually steal the Tree of Harmony's magic and capture the princesses, and using these Plunder Seeds. So he ended up lying to make it seem like he wasn't doing nothing with it. So I just thought this would be a good iconic move for him just to start. And these Plunder Seeds will definitely make him dangerous, because I don't know any other characters, just looking and thinking about it, there's no characters that can place traps. I mean, you got April with her camera, and the longer you sit in that camera light, it's just going to consecutively take damage over time. And then you have Gur for Zim that he can bring out, but there's no one who has traps like some mines or any sort of bombs. People have actual projectiles that move, but I guess the closest things to a trap would be the April O'Neil's camera, and then you got Gur for Zim that he can bring out. But anybody else in this game, they don't have any sort of traps. You got Lincoln Loud with his spinning tops that makes me think of Beyblades for some reason, and then he got his fireball, and then you got Spunky for Rocco. But I would say it's a Blina. She has something like traps, but the garbage that she can spew, I guess the purple stuff, the purple goo, it almost makes it things like traps, but she can get hit by it herself too. Outside of the little banana peels and the garbage that she spits off, it could be something similar to Blina's, but it's going to be way better. These Plunder Seeds are going to be super dangerous. So I thought this would be something as a nice little move for him to start. And then his next move, Ruler of Equestria, I just called it, where he can have a combo attack, just a little basic 3-hit. Discord can attack with a 3-hit combo with his tail. It'll be better than Reptar's because he'll be able to actually combo instead of just doing one little single strike. So Discord will be able to attack with a 3-hit combo with his tail, and then he can finish with what I found out. He can shoot blue flames from his hands. So that'll be a nice little 3-hit finish. The 3rd hit, he can hit you with his tail, and then he could hit you with them blue flames, and then he could probably ignite you, have you on fire for a few seconds, maybe something like that. It'll be a nice little touch for his combo. Chaos magic, he has so much magic and abilities, and I'm sure some of you guys will probably be able to elaborate more in the comments too. So I put chaos magic as part of his projectile attack, where he can fire dark energy blasts from his hands to send an enemy flying. So he have his own little projectile attack. So see how Reptar can shoot fireballs and all the other characters have across the croutons, but it's gonna be with something that can travel full screen across the map. His chaos magic, so you don't want to get hit with this, and they can definitely do so much more with his chaos magic and magical abilities. So I didn't give him too much magic. I just did not give him too much magic because he has so much abilities, and he's so capable of doing just almost anything with his powers. So chaos magic, I just put with the dark energy blast that he can be able to use, and petrification is also part of his chaos magic anyway, but I just put it in a separate move. So he could be able to petrify and immobilize the enemy. So Discord can snap his fingers and temporarily immobilize the enemy, leaving you wide open and vulnerable. So you definitely don't want to get hit by this. So he'll be able to just knock you off the map and launch you. But it made me, with this sort of particular move with his petrification skill or his petrification magical abilities, it made me think of Nigel Thornberry's smashing. In this game, it's one of my favorite moves and one of my favorite characters to play. It made me think of something, how he does that. He could be up close and hit you with this petrification to be able to stun you, and you'll be turned to stone. See what I'm saying? They can definitely be able to just pay tribute to the show like that, being able to petrify your opponents. Nobody in this game can do that. So I think he can definitely be the one to be able to change the whole character moveset to really introduce new animations and abilities for these characters in this game. So being able to petrify them, it's definitely going to be a good little touch for Discord to make him even more unique. And come to find out, he can also teleport. He just has so many different abilities in this game where he can teleport from place to place. So I just thought I gave him the ability to teleport as something to be able to dodge incoming projectiles. So he's not going to be teleporting everywhere constantly non-stop and just spamming that. You can only just teleport a select few times, and then you won't be able to teleport anymore. So that way it fits that balance. You won't, because just imagine if he could just keep on teleporting, you wouldn't be able to barely hit him. You'll hit him one time, keep teleporting, hit you, teleport again, bang, and then he hit you again with a strong attack and launch you, and he could shoot you with the chaos magic while he's teleporting. He could play keep away, and you'll never really be able to catch him. You'll just be running around trying to swing with Leonardo with his swords for his own. You're just gonna he's gonna be tough to hit with his teleportation, but it could be utilized to dodge not just projectiles, but just to dodge incoming attacks. So you'll just be able to dodge a few times, just similar to how you can only plant a few plunder seeds on the map. So that way it's balanced. And just in closing, his recovery move, he can fly with his wings. So I just put flight or maybe levitation or something like that, where Discord can glide and he can fly. So being able to fly and use levitation, it'll definitely be a nice little recovery for him to utilize his wings. So you can also not even just use it to recover, but you can just glide across the map if you want to just back up and try to recuperate. So Discord being able to glide and stay afloat in midair, I see it as a more realistic sort of recovery instead of having to teleport similar to how Danny Phantom does. It doesn't have to be like that. He can just fly and just fly right back into the ring and back into the stage. So he'll easily have one of the best recoveries, similar to how Jenny can also fly, and you can control where you want him to fly. They can do it like Jenny's, so you can control where you want to fly, and you can stay in the air for almost the same amount of time Jenny can stay afloat into the air, just how she's flying with her recovery. But she says, "I'll catch you later." So that could be something for his recovery. I don't see any other way he can get in for a potential recovery. But those are all the ideas I could really come up with him. But just like I said, this moveset could be a lot bigger than what it is. I'm curious to see what you guys think, who are huge fans of this show. So I'm excited. But I'm definitely excited to see what you guys think. And I think he has so many powers and abilities. I think he can really be able to shine and definitely be easily one of the best characters and most dangerous characters with all the magic he has. Because they don't have too many characters that can deal the kind of magic that Discord can deal, that Discord can dish out. None of these characters don't really have that. I mean, Aang has it, the avatars and stuff, but see how they only have a select few things? They can do the same thing for Discord. But his chaos magic, he has so much to in his arsenal to really just be able to cause a lot of problems for the characters in the map in this particular roster. But let me know what you guys think. I really like this show. I definitely want to get more into it, and I know there's plenty of other characters I can work on for the series, but this was something definitely new for me, and that's why I love doing this series, because I'm getting to know different characters, not just characters that I'm familiar with in different shows. For memories is new shows that's also included as well, and other characters that I never really heard of, just like this one for example. But let me know what you guys think. I definitely had fun with this one, and hopefully they can get more characters.